best editing. Anthony, it's on you.
Okay, number 3 is Civil War. It should probably be number 1. I don't know why it's not. The editing in that thing is insane. It's so tightly wound. There you go. And I'll use tightly wound to describe my number 2, September 5. Just edge of your seat, and anyone who knows the history knows the outcome, and it doesn't matter. I was on the edge of my seat and I knew what was happening. I knew what was going to transpire. But the way they spliced that together and just tightened it up was just brilliant. And number 1 for me would be Furiosa.
Okay.
George Miller and his editing, what he does with action. It's art to how he edits a film, and it's incredible. And that's
All
my
right.
top.
I respect that list. I got something in there similar. How about you, John? Who you got?
Been
No worries.
muted. Yeah, so number 3, we're gonna go with The Brutalist.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though it's like a 2.5, but that's why it didn't make
I
my
knew he
list.
was going to say
It's
that.
too goddamn long.
But
Look,
it didn't
Didn't
feel
edit
like
it
it.
enough.
bro, it's long as crap. It has an intermission, but yeah, I did like the editing though. So I'll give it a surprise number 3.
It's a great
Number
list.
2, I'm gonna do September 5th, so similar to Anthony. The time frame, the subject matter, the way that they were able to make it look like we were in 19, what was it, 72, I believe?
72, yeah.
72? Yeah. So that's my number 2. My number 1, shocker, Deadpool Wolverine.
Yay.
Interesting.
Good choice.
Yeah, but I mean the editing was fire. So
Yeah, it was.
some people might not think it's number 1, but I mean for what it was and all that we got in the film, yeah, I'd give that my number 1.
Interesting picks. Okay. I have a similar one to the both of y'all. My same number 2 is September 5th.
Wow.
So September 5th is my number 2.
Okay.
My number 3 is Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys is one of the top films of the year for me. FPS perspective throughout the whole film, but they interweave a lot of different pieces in there. Just
Yeah.
chef's kiss. So the editing to make that all work. That's why I'm giving it that editing nod. And might be a surprise to you on this one. My number 1 could have also gone left in regards to the story. Anora.
Very
I gave my
nice.
number 1 in editing because
Very nice.
of the way it flowed and how it could have done. They got to come different with it. I gave Anora my number 1 for editing.
That's a great choice. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's go to you, John. We're gonna kick us off with best production design. And again, if you can't think of 3, you don't have to do 1. Best production design.
You know what? Let me pass it to Anthony first and come
All right,
back.
you need a moment.
I need a minute. I need
Take a
minute.
Not
moment.
a problem. Not a problem.
What you got?
Number 3, Conclave. For all I said about the costumes,
Okay, and
pageantry of it all, and the director uses the frames, and he paints those frames beautifully with lighting and staging, and just incredible to look at. Number 2, I'm gonna throw a little something at you, but just remember how it looked. This is production design, and no,
Okay.
it's not Beetlejuice. Maria. Every shot is exactly what I described in Conclave. I mean, he pans back. He's not always in her face, except when she's singing. Just incredible design. Her apartment, the opera houses, how he chooses to shoot the streets of Paris, and a little bit of Greece, beautifully. That's besides her performance, it's the giant thing I took away from that movie when I walked out of it. And production design, number 1 is Dune 2.
Okay.
Just incredible what he's done with that whole universe. Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it for sci-fi production design. It's just stunning to look at.
All right. I like those picks. Yeah. What you got? You ready now, John? Or you still need a moment?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
good now. I'm good. So, yeah, my 3 are going to be kind of random. Okay. So, at number 3, it was a foreign film but it was awesome. From our friends from Well Go USA. Twilight of the Warriors
Oh,
Walden. The level of badassery in that film is very, very high. From the fact that it was like a walled-in city to specific parts had a tower in there, and the fact that they made this and it was based on an actual real place, and I was able to confirm it through a local that does press out, and because it's in Hong Kong. So a local that does press out in Hong Kong. And then I came to find out that my dad in the early 80s used to go there for work
Huh.
overseas and was like, oh,
Crazy.
that's the place where the planes would fly in between buildings and like this and that. And I was like, oh, I heard about that. And so I looked it up and talked to some other people. It took me down a rabbit hole, and I talked to some people that were actually in Hong Kong, and like it was very, very interesting. But the fact that it was very close to what it actually looked like, because I looked up pictures of it and everything. Oh my gosh, it was so that definitely earns my number three. So number two, Furiosa, because naturally y'all know that set was amazing, amazing. And then number one, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I mean, I don't know why anyone
oh,
mentioned it yet. You
that's a
know,
great choice, man.
hey, Caesar's not getting any love because he's not here, so we had to throw it back to what was his name? Maximus? I can't remember, but yeah, it was earlier this year. I know it kind of faded from people's minds because it came out earlier this year, but
That's a
yeah,
good choice.
I thought it
Yeah,
was
that I give respect on that because you had like the wood scene and that the whole
woods, the
wooded area, and then you
waterfall.
had the water with the abandoned ship with next
Mhm.
that's beached. I give respect on that. I like that.
I
Okay,
can't believe none of us mentioned that for makeup.
true, true.
From
Definitely get
where?
some nods there for makeup.
Makeup.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right.
All right, so for me, production design, period piece. Got to go back to it again. Saturday Night. It's in my top 10 list. So
Oh,
it came into a lot of these categories. Again, that time period, the different staging of the camera and how it worked. To me, have y'all seen Saturday Night?
Hmm.
Just the beats. It was
Yeah.
anxiety fueled throughout, and just the way they worked all that production design to get all these different moments in different areas on a set that we all know is very small. But it just there's so much there that production design to make that all work. And in the period, I had to give it that nod there. Returning to the list, The Substance. I don't need to say anything else
What?
there. The Substance is in production design, and hitting it up with number one for me is Wicked.
There you go.
Wicked, all those
okay.
sets, just phenomenal work there. An honorable mention that almost made it in there. To Anthony, you said Dune. That almost cracked it in there, but I decided to do period. And also Nosferatu, atmospheric.
What am I doing?
Nosferatu did. It was punching at my top three.
Do
Um,
over. Do over. That's my number one. That is my number one.
Well,
Oh
but
my
we'll
gosh.
but it's gonna make a return in a second. So again, I gave Wicked the nod, but Nosferatu's punching in there. But we're now about to head into cinematography. So
Yay.
Anthony, best cinematography.
Okay. Number three. This has been on two other lists, and it's been at number three in both on both of them. Uh, Conclave. Beautifully shot. I already said why. Gorgeous pageantry. Just love the way that looks. Number two, Furiosa. Um, because it's George Miller shooting the wasteland as good as he ever has, and bigger kind of than he ever has. And then number one, Nosferatu. Beautiful cinematography. It's baroque. It's a waking nightmare. It's beautiful, and dare I say, there's some gothic romanticism to it. And it's all, I mean, for many reasons, but the cinematography does a lot of the heavy lifting on that stuff. And it's just incredible to look at. I mean, there's not a moment that I took my eyes off of that thing. You can't do it. It's incredible. And there's something to see everywhere you look. And it holds on you, or it holds you, I'm sorry, and carries you through the movie.
I'm
Yeah.
with it. I like that. John, on you.
okay. And also, let me say, in my defense, we haven't voted yet, so that's why I'm scrambling for all these categories. Because unlike you, we haven't voted yet.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
So,
nominating right now. I didn't vote yet. These are just
oh, you
I've
haven't?
nominations that
voted.
I've done.
Yeah, we haven't even nominated yet. Yeah, so we're
We've already picked our winners. Wait, you're in
yeah,
the
yeah,
W.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
look at y'all. So yeah, so for 3, we're gonna go with Gladiator 2.
Oh, great
I like
choice.
that. I like
Yeah,
that.
go with Gladiator 2. Uh, yeah, between the Coliseum, then outside the city, and then within the city's walls, and then in the cellars, and then back in the Coliseum, it has water all of a sudden. I mean, ships. Yeah, so I'll give it some love. That's number 3. Number 2, I'll give Maria.
Oh, nice.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised how
so
much Maria's getting so much love in this.
yeah, parallel to what he said about Conclave. It just yeah, I think Maria's deserving of number 2. Number 1, I'll throw it to Wicked.
Okay.
Give Wicked some love. Yeah. Not anything. What am I trying to say here? The way that I felt like everything progressed for the better from because the singing at first was kind of flat and there was nothing really to look at in the beginning. But as the story goes on, it's like, okay, then there's the school, then there's this world, then there's the office, then there's the dorm, and then their singing gets better, and then the quality gets better, and the music gets better, and then they go to see the wizard, and then there's all of that. And I just feel like everything just gets better as the film goes by. So
All
that's
right.
number 1.
Right
I feel
on.
that. I feel that, list, gentlemen. For me, my noms were number 3, Saturday Night for best cinematography. Again,
Really?
just everything. Because it's a period film, and just the
Yeah.
way they have to work it all through all these different parts of a small area. I had to give it that nod.
You never, I think, I don't know if I already said this, you never don't feel like you're in the 70s in that movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just the way I was surprised how much I love Saturday Night.
I
After
liked it a lot.
even
It
as an
didn't make
SNL
my
fan,
top.
I was like,
Yeah.
my anxiety was through the roof.
Oh, yeah.
The actors were spot on. Like they stole their voices and their visuals, just everything. It was just so well done. But anyway, I don't want to go too much long because we have a lot more to go. So Saturday Night number 3, Nickel Boys number 2. Again, this film was in a FPS perspective,
Mhm.
uh, and just the way they did that for you to experience what it would be like to be a person of color, to make the audience feel what we go through day to day, and then they rotate it to a different character in the second half of the film. Did you both see Nickel Boys yet?
Mhm.
John, you
Yes,
got to see Nickel Boys, my
you
brother.
do. You do.
It just is just amazing how they did that, because the actors that you're that are on the screen, Anjanou Ellis Taylor, who I had the pleasure of speaking with, um,
Oh,
she's the mom in this, and you're feeling like her son, and you're dealing. It's heartbreaking. It's beautiful. It's tender. Nickel Boys, because of just of the way they did that film, and getting my number 1 cinematography, Anthony Francis. It's Nosferatu.
yes, it is.
It's
Thank you.
Nosferatu, dude. I had to give it just atmospheric.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is the prototype, the blueprint of what a vampire movie needs to be.
Indeed.
I
Indeed.
had to give it that love.